can't get away from the poop. I don't know why. But
You said we were done with the poop for the day.
apparently we're not. I read the first line and we're not. So, so up next, I'm 28 female, repulsed by my husband, 36 male. I fold the laundry and I've recently noticed an uptick in skid-marked boxers. One pair I could let go. Everyone has had more trust in a fart than it deserved, at least once, but it's becoming a weekly thing. He's also put on quite a bit of weight since marriage, and I realize that's incredibly shallow of me to say. He has always been a bigger guy, but he has increased his mass by 33% and is now edging dangerously close to 400-pound territory. I've told him that his hygiene is slipping a bit. You need to brush your teeth in the morning and scrub your butt with a washcloth. I shouldn't smell any musty ass or cheese when I get down there. He thinks I'm trying to be funny and just joking around. I don't know how to be more blunt. The sheets on the bed look like I snuggle up with a KFC chicken thigh. No amount of bleaching or soaking in Dawn can get the greasy feeling out of half of our bed linens.
Oh, jeez.
That's really tough. He got a gaming laptop a while back, and in a typical day, he says 3 words to me and acts annoyed if he has to take off his headphones to hear me. He's transforming into the South Park wow guy before my eyes, and I don't know what to do. I want a loving, intimate marriage, but the thought of him touching me makes me want to shower because I know any spit coming from that 3-day unbrushed mouth, the scent is going to linger on me until I use the soap and water. That, and he's 6'4", 400 pounds. I know them 3-minute showers are not long enough to clean sufficiently.
It seems to me like it's a case of like runaway laziness.
You almost wonder if there's some depression going on, though, too. Like, kind of a combo.
Yep.
Depression is a real bitch. I mean...
But it just seems like, kind of like when you get, when you get sick with a cold and you start feeling sick, and the things that you'd usually care about, like, oh, I'm gonna clean this up, or I'm gonna do this before I go to bed, or whatever.
Fuck it.
You just don't care.
Fuck it all.
I feel like it's that, but extended to being a permanent thing.
Well, yeah.
To where you fall to all of these things.
Well, even me sometimes, like this week when you were gone, I was just like embarrassingly gross. Like, I don't think I changed one of my shirts for 3 days because I was just like, I'm not going anywhere. All I'm doing is like editing and, working on stuff here. So
Yeah.
I'd obviously I'd shower every night, but I just would put on the same shirt, which is so gross. Like, what am I doing? But I wasn't doing anything. So I'm like, this shirt's probably not that gross because I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I get where you can fall into these patterns of and not really do anything. You just kind of are on your routine, and maybe the gaming laptop has really sucked him in. It's a new hobby. It's a new thing. You're totally enveloped.
Can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Can be very dangerous.
Yeah. So he's totally into it right away. But the fact that the weight gain, especially that much, is concerning just health wise. And so I think that's something you need to really bring up and approach to him.
For sure.
And then seeing skid marks, also every time I borrow a pair of your boxers to sleep for bedtime when I'm over there, I'm just I kind of peek in them no skid marks.
Oh, you're not finding anything.
I know.
Also,
you're pretty good.
I'm not giving you dirty boxers.
I know, but I still peek. But
there's a difference between boxers and boxer briefs.
But they're Calvin looking things.
Okay, because those are
those kind of slip up your
snug.
butt sometimes.
They're
yeah.
snug,
Yeah, they slip up
The
there.
boxers should never have a skid mark.
No, those are
because
so
those
loose.
just hang far away. Then you got some issues. But
yeah, she says boxer briefs in this.
Okay, I just feel like...
And those are tight. They can ride up.
I feel like the skid marks was it's almost like a clickbait kind of thing, but I feel like the skid marks are the least of the problems here.
Yeah, I think the KFC chicken thigh soaked sheets are...
You don't feel comfortable in your own bed? You just feel gross, kind of?
Well, and the thing is, obviously we use coconut oil. I talk about it all the time. And coconut oil is notorious for ruining sheets because the oils just don't wash away. They soak into your fabrics and whatever. So I'm just envisioning her sheets where it's if his body oil is that bad to where it looks like she's sleeping next to a KFC chicken thigh, you just know his hygiene. Because you could only sweat so much overnight. So then it's I just
Yeah,
don't.
it's really
bad. It's really bad.
And I feel like,
And I'm really not trying to fat shame or make anyone feel bad. There's obviously people that don't correlate with the BMI chart. And the BMI body mass index chart is so outdated. It's not accurate of health, whatever. But there comes to a point and a certain weight that it's clearly not healthy. So I'm not trying to
Yes.
fat shame or anything like
Yep.
that. But
Yep.
I just think like his laziness and everything is kind of catching up with him. And the fact like he didn't brush his teeth for 3 days.
yes,
It's not just the weight.
No, it's nothing to do with the weight. I think the weight is almost a like a byproduct of this.
Yeah. The lack of care.
It's
over
like a
his
side
health.
effect of a bigger mental. It's more of like the life choices and the patterns that are happening that have been fallen into. That is the concerning thing. And that's where, any of these stories that are relationship based, I try to put myself in that situation. And I think if this happened to me, I feel like the only thing you can do, because it's at the end of the day, you're not going to change people,
No, you can't.
is you sit down and you have a serious conversation where you really get into it. Not where it blows up into, like maybe it blows up into a fight or whatever, but you really just have the conversation. That could then just lead to, you're not going to live miserably the rest of your life. And then maybe you're just better off without this whole situation. But I think all you can do is go forward and have that deep down conversation.
You do. I can't. Well, and she said like she's addressed it and he thinks, she's joking, but it's like sit him down and say, I'm 100% serious.
Mm-hmm.
This has gone too far. Enough is enough. We really need to talk about your hygiene.
Yeah.
This isn't okay.
Yep.
Top comment says, tough love. No kissing, no sex, no intimacy. If you can't be honest with your spouse, who can you? Tell him very clear and direct that his hygiene is disgusting and you are taking a break from intimacy until he gets a better routine. You shouldn't be made to suffer through the smells and crusty poo and grease. So OP comments back and goes, that would work in theory, but the video games take up a bulk of his time. He's too busy to be intimate with me these days. I feel like a troll that lives on the front porch and only scurries out to cook and do the laundry. I wouldn't do shit. I wouldn't cook for him. I wouldn't do laundry. If your video games are more important to you than a real life with me,
Yep.
enjoy your video games and you figure out how the fuck you're going to fend for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like almost holding the intimacy thing over someone's head
Yes.
is like you're making the problem worse.
That's like what I was going to say.
You're only going to feed the fire.
I also I was going to say I don't think that's the best tactic. I just think if you have to withhold something that is a core dynamic in relationships, especially a marriage, that's kind of a pillar, intimacy and
it shouldn't be the carrot that's dangled in front of you in a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a mutual thing. That's
exactly.
It's not something that one or the other is letting the other person do. It's
both. It's both, parties consenting and enjoying it.
Yes.
And it's if you have to withhold sex and intimacy, you're hurting yourself as well. And if you have to do that to get your partner to change, are you with the right partner?
Right. And I feel like that just leads to almost more manipulative behaviors.
Yeah.
And
it's manipulation.
And then you're creating a worse situation overall by doing those things.
Well, and there's tough love. I get that. Tough love. Everyone needs a swift kick in the ass every once in a while. I do, at least. I'm not sure about everyone else, but I think a lot do. And so I get there's tough love and you're not getting this until you start cleaning up your act. But
that feels like parents grounding someone,
It seems childish. And if your husband can't take a shower and wash his asshole and his armpits and clean up after himself and, I just don't know. You shouldn't have to raise a child that is supposed to be your husband.
Yeah. That's perfectly said.
And it's if he wasn't like this before you married him or even after you married him right away, what has changed? Is it mental health? Is it the video games? Like,
It just feels like a snowball effect almost, like a runaway situation.
it is. It really does feel like that.
Well, and one of the things I really respect about you, if you don't like something or something is bothering you, you just call it out. And
know.
you have a conversation, you bring it to the forefront. You're not one to let things have that snowball effect and get worse.
I just fixate on them in my head and I can't handle it. So I always like word vomit it out.
But
Like I have to address it.
I also think that's really healthy too. I think there's something to be said about being upfront, being very blunt and honest, especially within your relationship, because it just sometimes the other person also can be oblivious, especially if you've let it build up and become such an issue.
You just don't know.
But then by that point it's almost too far gone. Then even when you are blunt and give an ultimatum, then they're like, "Oh,
They're
hi,
so set
are
in
you
their
joking?"
ways. Which is this guy.
Right.
He thinks he's joking.
Right.
Yeah. I just can't imagine dealing with this and not having intimacy because it's just not like I'm a very like my love languages are gift giving and like affection. And so for me, I'm just like this story is literally my nightmare.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes if and I don't feel like it happens often, but if I get to a point where I can smell myself, I get very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I need a shower right now.
I know.
And I'm not putting that shirt back on. That shirt's going into the wash.
Immediately.
So I think we're, a good fit.